This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you again for tuning to another segment of INC Radio New York. My name is Brother Lance Marinas, and with me on joining shortly is Sister Abigail Hidalgo, and with me on also is Brother Cliff Sturba, our resident doctor here, and we are talking about seasonal allergies today. But before we do get started with our main topic, we will continue with our new segment, the hashtag challenge, which is time to rep your local congregation and get your bragging rights. Which local congregation will again emerge this week as victorious and be our hashtag challenge winner? So for our local congregation throughout the District of New York, please don't forget to hashtag in the YouTube live box or the YouTube comments so that you can monitor it throughout the show and see who will be the emerging hashtag winners. But before we do get started to the main topic, but we would like to first recognize the top three local congregation from April 13th, or last week's hashtag challenge winner. Coming at number three is the local congregation of Boston. So for the local congregation of Boston, congratulations. At number two, it's a local congregation or the extension of Londonderry. So, and at number one, it seems like they're winning still. It's the local congregation of Forest Hills. So for the local congregation of Forest Hills, congratulations for being the hashtag challenge winner for the local congregation in the top three. Now, the top three hashtaggers, number three is our the Minister Brother Michael Mercado. So, congratulations, po, Michael. Number two is Sister Liberty Sabino. So, for number two winner, congratulations, po. And number one is Sister Marisol Jose. Thank you, po, for being the hashtag challenge winner this week, or last week, sorry. And for our live viewers here on our YouTube, fill our YouTube live chat with answers and prompt of the question of the day. And the prompt or the question of the day is how are you doing with your seasonal allergies? Again, the prompt of the day is how are you doing with your seasonal allergies? As we know, it is spring, the flowers are blooming, and I believe at least up here in Rochester, we stopped winter already. It hasn't snowed in the last days or so, and we've been getting a lot of rains, and I've been seeing a lot of the pollens already, and what do you call this? Flowers blooming in the front yard. And so those are. We'll be talking about what's causes seasonal allergies. So how are you doing with your seasonal allergies? And we'll read them on later at the end of the show or throughout the show, so that we can see how you are really doing with the seasonal allergies. Because I know for some people it might be worse, and some take it as lightly, only lasts a few days, and others may last a few weeks. So we shall see. And the CFO in action and upcoming activities. There is a lot of activities happening in our district, and back to back every week we do have a lot of activities. So if you are in any of these activities, please don't forget to mention them and see how they are doing. Today I believe there is a Kadiwa Sports Clinic. So what the Kadiwa Sports Clinic is, there is a bunch of brethren practicing table tennis. I believe also pickleball, which is the craze of this summer and the last year's summer. It's been very famous, right? Kuya Cliff, is that correct? It's,
Yeah, bro. Yeah, absolutely.
yes, it's very famous. And I believe there's also tennis for those who are brethren who is choosing to play tennis. So whichever sports you are familiar with and whichever sports you are good at, you'll be learning today. On May 12th, there will be musical evangelical mission. So please also don't forget to invite our friends and loved ones because this is a good opportunity not only to introduce the Church of Christ, but also to learn to introduce to other brethren. May 18th, CFO Day. Since we're coming towards the summer months, there's a lot of activities. As you can see, back-to-back activities. CFO Day, it's a good also for families to join together. And we have Sister Abby also joining us now. How are you doing, Sister Abby? Look
I'm
like,
okay.
look like you just drove through a bunch of New York City traffic.
Yeah, I used to live around here and I totally forgot how it is on a Saturday morning. So, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll continue on. May 26th and 27th is Unity Games. So for all the brethren, I believe it will be somewhere in Rhode Island. So please be excited because I know the lobsters will be great in that area. What are you planning to play, Brother Cliff and Sister Abby, on the Unity Games?
Me personally, I'm looking into maybe Scrabble or something that doesn't require as much huffing and puffing.
Yeah, although Scrabble seems might be an easy sport, it is very hard and challenging because it is a lot of techniques and tactics on utilizing the tiles in the board, so you can score more points. What about you, Sister Abby? Are you playing tennis this year?
I don't think there's tennis for this Unity game, but I'm being recruited to play volleyball. Um,
Ooh.
I feel like I'm too old for that. I'm not as limber, and and yeah, but we'll see. I'll be there to support the players.
Yes, exactly. We're there to support. And I think I'll be playing volleyball. This is not as extreme as basketball. I my resistance to running around is not as good as it used to be. So I'll try to limit the running this year. But before we go into our main topic, those are all the main activities that's happening in our district. But before we do get into our main topic, we'll take a quick station break. Via tech, if you can take us to a station break.
You are listening to Iglesia ni Cristo Radio, the voice of truth.
The use of social media nowadays is prevalent and helps people develop their interest and find other people who share the same interest. However, sometimes it poses dangers when improperly used. Find out this Sunday, April 21 at 9 p.m. China Standard Time and Philippine Time as INCRadio Macau Satellite Studio presents the dangers caused by uncontrolled playing of video games. See you there!
Why is having plans and caring for them important? Join our discussion this Sunday, April 21, and find out. From 11 a.m. to 12 noon Philippine Standard Time. Stay tuned to INCRadio Hong Kong Satellite Studio. See you there!
And welcome back to INC Radio in New York, where we're talking about seasonal allergies. And again, the prompt of the day is: how are you doing with your seasonal allergies? So let us know in the YouTube live chat how you are doing with your seasonal allergies, since we are right into the springtime. As we say, spring is in full swing and things are starting to bloom for some of us. This is it's an enjoyable time because seasonal allergies. Today, with our fellow doctor, we will discuss seasonal allergies and how to manage them during the season. And again, don't forget to hashtag your local congregation, and we will see who will be the emerging winner this coming week. And in our next week's show, we'll mention who is the local congregation winner. So we'll go right into our main topic, Brother Cliff. What are seasonal allergies?
Yeah, good morning, bro. Yeah, seasonal allergies are, it's also known as hay fever, right? And they come around this time of year when things start greening up a little bit. And you might notice, if you're one of those people that suffers from seasonal allergies, you might notice you have a little bit of some itching in your nose. Maybe there's a tickle at the back of your throat. Maybe you're coughing. Maybe your eyes might be watering. And these are all symptoms of seasonal allergies, and they come because of usually pollen that's coming around in the air, right? And all these things that are floating around in the air irritate our nasal passages and create sort of a response from our body which tries to flush all that stuff out. And that's where we get all of our tearing and sneezing from. It's really something that affects a lot of people, especially this time of year.
Yeah, especially this time of year, as you know. I think I do also experience some seasonal allergy. How about you, Sister Abby? Do you experience severe seasonal allergies?
I guess I'm the unfortunate person that I have seasonal and year-round allergies. I did see an allergist and I found out what I'm allergic to. It's quite interesting when you get your skin test to see what you're allergic to. Um, but yeah, apparently I'm allergic to grass, and I'm allergic to dust mites, cats and dogs, and horses. And there was one other one that I don't recall at this time, but it was quite interesting experience.
Horses is particular, a very particular animal to be allergic to.
Yeah, it was interesting what they test for. I think horses are a little bit, like it's I don't know, maybe because it's Connecticut. You test for like certain livestock. I even got tested for rabbit. But yeah, it's I guess depends on your area or what you could potentially be exposed to. Depending on your allergist, they may, or if you have certain requests. I even got tested for food allergies, and thankfully, I'm not allergic to any foods as I for now. We'll see.
Yeah, but Cliff, is there like a particular flower or plant that causes more allergy than the others? Do you know?
That's a question that's really hard to answer because it kind of depends on the person. And unfortunately for Abby, she's had these allergies all her life, all throughout. But it turns out that people can go in and out of allergies. You could have had allergies in your earlier years when you were younger, and all of a sudden you don't have them anymore. Or you never had allergies, but all of a sudden you start developing some allergies later on in life. Like, for example, I've never actually had itchy, teary eyes before, but this particular season, it started up and I'm sort of experiencing it now. So the story about who is allergic to what and how sensitive they are to it sort of varies from individual to individual.
Hmm, okay. So what are some over-the-counter remedies we can utilize?
This is a very common question with the patients that I have. They definitely want to be able to treat themselves at home and without having to go to a doctor. And we've got a lot of those things lying around in the store. We can go with our antihistamines, which is a really popular one. It's the one a day pill that you can take. There's different classes and generations of antihistamines. And I know I'm not supposed to name any particular brand, so you're just going to have to look it up. But there's also some inhaled, some nasal steroids that you can use. There's nasal irrigation that you can do. And then we sort of climb up the ladder. You could be taking anti-inflammatory medications. And then we get a little bit more complicated the higher up the ladder that we go, but that's usually what we go with at first. We always recommend lifestyle, changing the way you sort of do your things around the house, and over the counter medications. That's our first stop on treating seasonal allergies.
Brother Cliff, what do you think about wearing masks? Some people, when they're walking about, I know we used to use it for like getting preventing colds or whatnot, flu, like in the wintertime. Can we use like masks when we go out in the springtime to kind of prevent or block the pollen or the allergens in the air?
Yes, absolutely. You can totally use masks. Now, it depends on what kind of mask, the quality of the mask. You could um, definitely put one on, and it will help a little bit for stuff that gets into your nasal passages. But our eyes are still open to it all, and we can definitely get some pollen or stuff in our eyes, which causes irritation as well. So, will a mask help? Yes. Is it 100% effective? Like you'll never experience allergies again? Unfortunately, no.
So can we wear a spacesuit? You think that'll be effective?
Absolutely. We can do that. We can do the bubble boy way. We can go that way. You can wear a full on air filtered hazmat suit or never leave our where we live. We could just stay inside all day and never leave. And I know some people who really want to do that. They really don't like seasonal allergies that much. They'd rather stay inside all day or get a space suit, if you can get one of those nowadays.
Um, what do you think about like air filters for your home? Um, is there like a I know there's I don't know how I've been reading about like certain filtrations or there's like certain numbers. Does that help with also seasonal allergies or allergies in general inside your home?
Yeah, absolutely. These air room filters, specifically certain brands of filters, are heavily advertised to us as being able to clean the air, and they absolutely do that. Um, you know what a better trick might be? Keeping your windows closed. I know this time of year people want to save a little bit on money by not running the air conditioner because it's electricity, right? So what they'll do is they'll open up the windows, they'll keep the screen on. But when we open up the windows, that kind of sucks in all of those pollens and things like that. Other things like if we live with more than one person, maybe we might be very careful about bringing pollen in, but maybe other people will be bringing pollen in through their clothes. So we should change out of our clothes. We could even wash our hair before bed because as we're walking around, the pollen's just sometimes it looks like green fog. I kid you not. You walk outside some days, it just looks green, and you know that that's all pollen. And some people will try to save money by hanging their clothes outside to dry. We could also just use the dryer instead of leaving the clothes outside to sort of collect pollen, right? So those are some other ways that you could keep the pollen away from you, in addition to your home air filtration system.
Brother Cliff, I know you mentioned like certain like antihistamines, and there's different brands and different like types. Sometimes I see the word the brand name or the generic name with the letter D. How do you determine whether you take the regular kind or the one that has the letter D on it? And what's the difference between them?
The brand name with the letter D. So there's different antihistamines that are out there. We go by generations, right? And while we're young, we can sort of take our pick. We can go ahead and just get whatever that we feel comfortable with. Maybe we like a certain brand or whatever. But as we get older, there are certain brands of these antihistamines, namely the first generation and even a little bit of the second generation, that will actually kind of make it a little bit tougher for us. As in, if we're more seasoned in age, you catch my drift, right? If we're a little more seasoned, we should be avoiding first and second or first generation antihistamines and go with maybe something like a third generation antihistamine like fexofenadine. Um, so these are certain things that we should try to make sure when we're looking for over-the-counter medications. We should definitely consult with our physician, our primary care provider, or one of the pharmacists behind the table. They will help us to find the best medication for our situation.
Hey, thank you, Brother Cliff. So we went over like some like environmental prevention, over the counter stuff. When should we consider speaking further to like a specialist, like an allergy specialist for further guidance? Or when do you think would be an appropriate time to kind of have that discussion?
Yeah, great question. Most people will respond to over the counter stuff and, closing your windows or getting that room air filter. But there's a certain subset of patients who might have experienced worsening of symptoms. Maybe they have a complication like existing asthma already, right? Or maybe you've been suffering really heavily with these is this itchy, watery eyes, this sneeze for not just a season, but maybe several seasons, maybe several years, right? Um, if you should see a doctor if, for example, the over-the-counter medications stop working, or it's even good to see a doctor if our quality of life is affected. Like it's so bad we can't sleep, we don't even we get depressed because we can't go outside. These are all complications and things that should make us think about seeing our primary care physician, primary care provider, and then from there, the primary care provider can refer you to maybe an immunologist or an allergist, um, as you saw, Abby, right? When it's just a little bit more, when it's a little bit more of a heavier problem than what affects most of the population, that's when we refer out.
Yes. So I did speak to my PCP or primary care provider. She referred me to an allergist because I guess my allergies weren't being well controlled with the over the counter medication. I know there's like prescriptions, but most of the time these prescriptions are over the counter and your insurance doesn't cover it. So, so there you go. Also, I what I learned from one of my allergists is that you can become tolerant to your allergy medication. So you should again speak to your provider about this. But this is what she told me. Why my medication wasn't working is because I become tolerant. So I should rotate it. She didn't specify how often, but I guess when you start feeling that your allergy medication isn't working, try another class or try another brand, see if that works. And you should kind of do it on all sides. Take the oral stuff, use the nasal spray. I personally don't like nasal sprays, but it may help. If it starts again, if you have asthma and allergies, um, you can, you have to be careful of that too. I know Brother Lance is very like pro nasal irrigation, right, Brother Lance?
I do like it. It frees up a lot of. You can breathe easily afterwards. Yeah, Cliff, is there a way to tell seasonal allergy from, I guess, more severe flu or like more severe kinds of sicknesses?
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of people that come in and they'll be like, I must be sick with something. I must be coming down with something. It must be the cold. It's actually kind of challenging to tell sometimes. If you have a fever, if it comes on pretty fast, if someone else might have had the cold in the house and all of a sudden you're getting it, if you never had allergies and all of a sudden now you're experiencing something like this, it's always good to check yourself out. Make sure that it's not a cold. And then what's nice is if it is a cold, usually it's going to go away and you probably don't have to worry about it for a while, right? Unlike seasonal allergies, which those kinds of things will sort of be in and out of your life for a very long time. Um, to really tell, obviously if it's a cold, it's you get some rest, have some soup, relax a little bit. But if it's allergies, it would respond to those antihistamine medications or the other medications we've talked about. That's kind of how we tell right away whether or not there is a response to medications.
Okay. Thank, thank you, Brother Cliff. One last question. I probably some people heard about this, but what do you think about consuming honey to kind of help with the seasonal allergies? Is there any I want evidence um, evidence for that, or is that kind of just like an old wives' tale or something like that?
Yeah, honey, it's an alternative kind of way to do it. Supposedly, honey has some stuff in it that actually helps out with allergies. I'm not familiar with any work, any papers that are done supporting that, but supposedly honey with some tea, it'll help soothe the throat, but you're also drinking some warm liquids along with it. The only time I would recommend not using honey is if A, you're allergic to it, and not to give it to infants. Honey can actually hurt infants, and we really want to avoid that. So if you think your infant might have an allergy or is sick, go to your pediatrician, get that checked out. Don't give honey. That's just something that we want to avoid. But for all the other stuff, for everybody else who's not an infant, if you feel like honey makes it work and you feel a little better, I say why not? It's delicious.
All right. Thank you, Brother Cliff, for the wealth of knowledge and all the information that you provided us. Any last words, final remarks?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me on. Once again, I love being here and I love entertaining the questions. Um, yeah, hi everybody. Hi to District NYK, Congregation of Wyndham, my family, where you are here and abroad, and to Amelia, who's in that room there. We're just happy to have you guys in our house again, and we look forward to the very next time that we can be on.
Thank you again, Cliff. But before we do end, I'm trying to see if there's a lot of greetings here. Sister Wingdyke or Sister Jennifer Trinidad says, "Hi everyone, Collins, good to see you again. Hi, from Sister Jennifer, local congregation of Long Beach, Orange County, California." Sister Marisol said, "Hello po, Sister Liberty Sabino from the local Boston po. Hope you remember me, way back po, your niece was our choir leader and head secretary." Sister Liberty Sabina said, "Good morning po, everyone. Greetings from the local congregation of Forest Hills. May we all have a safe and nice day." And Sister Brother Mario Oka says, "Good evening here in the Philippines. Greeting from the local Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North." So there are some brethren watching from all the way from the Philippines. Anything else, Sister Abby, that we may have forgotten? No?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, stay. I guess if you're having allergies, stay inside or try to, take your medication if possible, and see your provider. And yes, yes, I think that's it for me. And greetings to the local Belmore. I will see you shortly, and to my local congregation of Bristol, Johnsonville, Sanchez. I'll see you later today and tomorrow.
Yep. And for the local, and again, you got a few last minutes for all the local congregation to blast the YouTube live chat to make sure you are the emerging winner for the hashtag challenge. And again, this brings us to the end of our show today. And that is all for our show today. Thank you for tuning in to another segment. And thank you so much to the church administration for giving us a platform to share and speak about important and interesting topics like these. Don't forget us to catch us again next Saturday at 11:30 Eastern Daylight Time or 11:30 Philippine Time. And again, greetings to our district staff, station manager, executive producer, main studio tech, especially to our district minister, Brother Sheridan Santos, our assistant district minister, Brother Neil Practical Meda, to our CFO advisor, Brother Ivan Diaz, and to our multimedia advisor, Brother JR Resurrection. And this brings us to the end of our show today. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone.